The one part of my life that I regretted, or that I still do regret getting into, is, a little thing called masturbation. God, do I hate it so much. It is the worst thing that has come across in my life. And it's had such a control over me for a pretty good chunk of it, too. It's taken away a lot of my confidence and shaped me into not the person I really want to be. Not to say that now I'm not the person I want to be, or not the person I don't want to be, but it's really taken away a lot from my character. That confidence part being the biggest piece of it all. I think I first tried it a couple days after my 12th birthday, which sounds really early in my eyes. And maybe it's not. Maybe it's around the same time as when a lot of you started to try it as well. I don't even remember what happened. I remember one night just doing it at like 12. I was in 6th grade, and I did it, and it came out everywhere, and I was like, what the hell is this? What is all over me? I was actually disgusted with myself because I didn't know what it was. I was so confused. And it was like this feeling of guilt and shame and humiliation almost that would stick with me for a lot of my life the more that I started to do this. And I did it once and couldn't stop. I just continued to do it. More and more and more, and it had taken control of my brain and had made me so horny. And it's a curse, genuinely. Like, masturbation is the biggest curse I feel like one can have, at least in my opinion. I'm sure there's plenty of worse things one can deal with in life, but at least for me, masturbation is like the worst thing. Because when you're as deep as I was, and still kind of am, you cannot control masturbation. Masturbation controls you. And when you start, you don't want to stop. And you want to do it every day, and just because it feels good. For what, though? Whatever you're thinking of or whatever you're watching, it's not real. So why are you getting aroused by the thought of it? It's so pointless. It's what I'd like to call, from what I heard from somebody else say, microwave dopamine. It's a little spurt of dopamine that is not going to last very long. It's going to last you at max a few minutes. I mean, if you can really hold it a long time, it can get you a while of just stroking it and giving yourself pleasure. But for what? For what? Like, what are you actually gaining as a human being by doing this? Because after, the feeling you get is just horrible. Like, you want to, at least for me, whenever I've done it in the past and then I've climaxed, the only thing I want to do is sit in my room and not talk to anybody because I'm so ashamed of myself and so guilt-ridden and just disgusted. It's not something I ever wish I did in the first place. Because on top of that, all of that stuff and porn and like all of that, it morphs your brain and changes your sex drive and twists the way you see women And once you're in that life, it's very hard to get out. I think I had a streak of doing it for roughly 6 years. 5 to 6 years-ish. It was in that range. Am I cold turkey now? No, I've had some bumps along the way. But I'm currently still on my journey for quitting for good. Yeah. I'm trying to never go back, essentially. In hopes to improve myself as a person and just be better. Because I don't want this anymore. I haven't wanted this anymore. It sucks. It really does. But in getting out of it, the best advice I can give to anybody who's currently trying to quit now is to stay busy. Do not sit down. Do not be in your room for too long. The longer you are in your room, the stronger the temptation is going to get. You need to be doing something constantly. I don't care what it is. It can be the simplest thing ever. It can be something that only takes you a couple minutes, but you've got to have multiple things that take you a couple minutes then. The moment you sit down is the moment you're going to be tempted. And sit down where, you might ask? On your bed. Do not lay on your bed all day. Because literally, you will be so tempted to just do it right then and there. It is the number one place where your temptation will be the strongest. Stay away from that spot. If you can get a chair in your room or something that's away from your bed, by all means, get yourself a chair for your room. Laying down and putting yourself in a position for you to do it is the worst thing you can do. Easily the worst thing you can do. Because all you're going to set yourself up for is for negative emotions and feelings. And these negative emotions and feelings will ultimately not just change how you view women and sexual stuff like that, but it's also going to change your overall mindset as well. It's going to affect everything, and you're going to see so many things in such a more negative light. You're going to be more miserable, essentially. And do you really want to be more miserable? Nobody wants to be miserable. Nobody actually wants that feeling of misery and just loathing everything and just not enjoying your life. So if you aren't already in too deep, quit while you still can. It's not worth getting yourself wrapped up into. Porn is not worth it. It is never in a day in this life been worth it. Sure, you see some titties and you see boobs and ass and stuff like that and all of that. But your dopamine will only last momentarily. All of that pleasure and feeling good just for it to be done in a couple minutes. It's such a roller coaster of emotions. 1 minute you feel great and the next minute you feel like shit. It's just, it sucks, really. It really, really sucks. Masturbation is a curse. That's all I have for today. Stay blessed.